Good evening everyone, happy Tuesday and welcome back to Mel TV, and I'm so happy you can join me tonight. And yeah, I don't know if you've been watching my Facebook page of my personal profile, but I have been under the weather the last few weeks, and the tools that I'm about to share with you have been a tremendous help with the emotional turmoil I've been experiencing lately. And I tell you what, these are so essential, especially if you want to take control of your eating habits. So anyway, if you haven't seen me before, hi, I am Mel. I am an eating mindset coach and a eating disorder and weight loss rapid transformational therapist, and basically I help anyone who wishes to lose weight without dieting or stop any unhealthy habits that they have with regards to what they eat. And I've only just recently opened Mel's TV just so that I can share all the tips that I know so that you can be free from any fad diets and be able to get back to your natural, beautiful self. So in this series, I'm talking about how you can successfully stop comfort eating. And if you follow these tools, and I'd recommend, following them in order, it'll be much easier towards the end to be able to have that control back when it comes to eating. And basically, in the end, it will just feel like second nature. And you'll notice that I am talking about another mind hack, and I'm not even talking about tips about eating yet, because for me it is super important that we get the mind set straight when it comes to our eating habits, because our minds are so powerful. And I think most of us, and I certainly was complacent about the mind, and I completely underestimated how powerful it is. And to make a point of how powerful it is, everything around you, whatever your life is, the type of car, the relationships you're in, the job that you have, and because I'm talking about eating, and especially when it comes to eating, is all a manifestation of your mind. Of basically, it all started with your mind. So let's say, for example, the husband you're with or the wife you wouldn't be with them unless you already decided in your mind that this person was for you. There's something you had made that up. Nobody else could have made that decision for you, of course, unless you're like a pre-arranged marriage. But you ultimately set your mind, this is the person that I liked. Your car, you chose the car. It sounds pretty basic, but the reasons why I'm pointing this out is because when you come to the eating habits, whatever you're doing right now is because you have set your mind to eat that way. So what I mean about that is, like, let's say, for example, you have good intentions. You want to eat healthily. You want to eat, everyone knows how to eat healthy. It's not complicated, and yet a lot of us have problems trying to eat healthy because the intentions are not really aligned with our true mindset, because our minds have made up its mind that healthy food might not be as enjoyable as having a takeaway or having something that like treats. And the simple labeling of things like treats and desserts and afters and sweets. Even calling it like that is labeling it something as something special. So that's why I am trying to go over the mind first, because once we get the mindset straight, everything else will just fall into place. Everything else would be easy. So if you will, all I'm doing now is trying to do step by step, so you can do each and every tip easily, to build up on the path of being free from craving crap food. Can you imagine not being able to crave these things? But you can't do it just jumping from loving cakes and loving ice cream to suddenly be not bothered by it. It doesn't work like that. It really is a whole load of components together, and tonight I'm going to share with you one of the things, and it's got nothing really to do with food yet. So basically we really need to start being mindful about our thoughts. Everything that we tell ourselves, the thoughts, the words and everything, because whatever we say, whatever we think, our brains are going to start working, and it will change everything that we feel. So the third mindset is trying to reframe every negative situation. So you could, I already touched on this point on the second tip, how you could change the way that you see foods. But this time I am talking about how to deal with situations that are not in your control. And you might think, what's this got to do with like eating? The more that you can control the way that you react, the more you're going to feel more prepared when it comes to moments when you feel like you're craving for things that are not good for your body, like the cakes in the cupboard, the cookies. You are going to get there, I guarantee you. But the first stage is when just dealing with every situations in life. So I've come up with like 3 examples. One of them is really typical, like road rage. Okay, so if you drive a lot, you'll probably see bad drivers on the road all the time. And if you get really annoyed with these bad drivers, I know you're thinking, what's this got to do about eating? If you can change the way that you react when someone really annoys you, it's going to be so easy to be able to use that same power when it comes to resisting for food. Okay, so for example, if you see, the next time you see a crazy driver on the road, try and build a different picture in your head. So crazy driver, you're thinking, oh, what an asshole, you know, they're overtaking me, and you're like, you want to like stick your finger up, you get angry. That's kind of most people's reaction. You might not swear like I do, you might be, you might be nice about it, but you'll probably feel those anger inside you. You probably almost had an accident because this idiot just cut in front of you. You had to slam on your brakes. But I'm saying that instead of reacting like that, just try to envisage, maybe what if you found out that person in that car was actually a mum and her son was in the back having, like he choked or he's got an allergy, and the reason why she cut in front of you so suddenly is because she's racing to go to the hospital, trying to get her choking son to the hospital as quick as he can because she's trying to save his life. How would you feel knowing that has happened instead? And I'm not saying like, like, oh, it's like rubbish, but if you try to put a different story in your head, like just listening to that, hasn't that changed the way you think about that crazy driver on the road, because that is what you're ultimately trying to do, is just change the way that you're reacting, because at the end of the day, you really don't know what is going through their minds. And yeah, maybe there are idiots out there who don't know how to drive, but you getting angry, it's only affecting you, not them. They're just going to carry on being idiots. And the thing is, the chances are, if you react to them, they'll probably like do something else stupid, you know. So but yeah, so that's one scenario where you can quickly change the story in your head. Another thing is like where if you're having an argument with somebody, like your husband, your wife, a girlfriend, or something like that, I always well, now since I've been learning these tools myself, is just take a few moments just to stop when you can feel yourself kind of on this, like I don't know what you like, I don't know what the analogy is, when you're starting to hit with each other with like comments, and you know it's kind of starting getting a bit hurtful, or you know, try to stop yourself before it gets worse, and think the reason why they're probably saying things that are hurtful to you is probably because they're feeling hurt as well. So so being aware of, or even if they're just completely oblivious to it, maybe change the story in your head, thinking, yes, they are reacting like that, is because they feel hurt, they're feeling attacked, you know. So, but they're not really going to have the tools that you know by continuing further into the argument. It's just going to escalate, and more often than not, the arguments are completely trivial. So, and if you really want to continue discussing with whatever topic you are that you're getting heated about, maybe it's like a good time to say, look, you know, I think this is not getting anywhere right now. Let's just take 5 minutes, or let's talk about this a little bit later, you know, when both of us are in the mood to do it. And then another thing, like if you are texting your friends or whatever and they're not messaging back, just think, well, maybe perhaps they're tied up, they're doing something. It's not as if they're ignoring you on purpose. So all these little tiny mind hacks, it's really really to get you onto that mind frame, to be able to handle stress. And the reason why I think it's really, really important to be able to handle your stress is because when it comes to the time where you're on your own, you're feeling vulnerable, you are going to be less likely to grab food to comfort you if you can start getting these tools, these skills to try and manage your emotions, because that is, I believe, is the key. If you could stop reacting to your emotions, then you're literally almost halfway there. Well, you're almost there to stopping eating, you know, binge eating or comfort eating, because it's all to do with the emotions. So that is my tip number 3. Reframe, put new pictures in your head, even if you know there's an idiot on the road, even if you know your spouse is completely wrong, because the moment that you start letting those feelings in, that is when it's like it's just going to overwhelm you. So it's really taking control over your emotions, and then you'll be, you know, this is probably the hardest, I think, of all the tips I'm going to share with you, is trying to reframe, because it's not always going to be very easy, especially when you've got like if you're like with a partner who really, really cannot see what you're saying, you're really not getting anywhere. But the fact is, if you're not getting anywhere, it probably is just best to leave it anyway, because no matter how much you shout, no matter how much you try to get your point across, you know, it's not going to happen. Whether or not you get frustrated, you're better off just by walking away, taking deep breaths, and just being able to handle that emotion. So anyway, I hope I haven't confused you too much, because I do rabbit on a little bit. But today's tip is be able to reframe really challenging situations. So that will be a really powerful skill to learn, because then once you know that, I'll be able to share with you more of the tips really targeted to comfort eating and binge eating on crap food. So on that note, thank you for watching me again, and I will see you on Thursday with another tip to stop comfort eating. Okay, bye bye. Have